They come in all kinds of forms. I've never seen two that look the same. They're hard to describe. The longer you think about one of them in particular, the more normal they start to seem. More correct. And the very thought that they exist, it fades from your mind almost instantly. Sometimes I sit there thinking, what the hell did I even make up for myself? And then one of them makes a mistake, and everything comes back at once. That's their thing, to seem normal, ergonomic. All those stories and movies about how they appear in terrifying places with ominous music, twisted faces, smelling like death, where the protagonist feels cold dread and graveyard panic around them. It's not that this is completely wrong, but that's not how it really happens. In reality, they can look like anything they want, do anything they want, and it still isn't scary because they fit somehow into a template your brain understands. Whenever I met one of them, I never felt anything was wrong at first. You sit at home, chatting with a friend, washing dishes, or sipping tea, and suddenly you realize you don't have a friend like that. Never did. And you can't remember what exactly you were just talking about. And his face is strange, but you can't pinpoint what's wrong with it. You start staring. Everything seems normal. Everything seems human. And while you're studying his face, trying to remember what bothered you, you forget he's a stranger at all. And you keep chatting like nothing happened. I don't know how they do that, but it's very hard to snap out of it. I made a rule for myself. Never ignore that slight feeling that something is off. It's not easy. You're talking to this friend. Hours pass. It's already 3:30 a.m. And again, you get that tiny alarm in your head. Why so long? What are we talking about? Who is this person? What's with his face? No, the face is fine. Everything's fine. It's nice here. Long time no see. And he's opening a box of chocolates. Where did he get them? They weren't here before. And if they were, why didn't he open them earlier? I don't know what happens if you accept it. The first times I met them, I must have gotten lucky. When I'm anxious, I don't want to eat anything anyway. Later, it became a habit to refuse food, like when you're a kid and told not to take candy from strangers. Only now, you don't take candy from anyone as a precaution. Maybe the old friend seems offended that you don't even try what they offer. But a rule is a rule. That's why rules exist, so you don't break them. They probably have rules too. For example, they never attack right away. They wear you down. I actually think they're physically weak, if their bodies are even real. So they sit and talk you into exhaustion, then offer food. And people probably accept most of the time. What happens after? I don't know. But their behavioral pattern is always the same. Meet you. Convince you that you know each other, or that you want to get to know each other. Lead you somewhere and wait. Like this friend now, still sitting here. You can't just throw them out. they must get tired too. I think that's why the longer you're near one, the stronger the unease becomes. Maybe your brain just notices more and more odd details and panics instinctively, but I think it just gets harder for them to maintain that normality. I won't state it as fact. I still know absolutely nothing about them. But in my experience, it always turns into a contest. Who can last longer? Except once. Back then, I was sitting just like now, chatting with my dorm roommate, and then I noticed she had no tongue. It shocked me. It was so sudden. It didn't even cross my mind that something was wrong or that she might be one of them. I didn't know about their existence yet, so I simply asked, like anyone would, "How are you talking to me if you don't have a tongue?" She went silent immediately, and all her normality evaporated. She didn't attack, didn't do anything bad. We just kept sitting there in silence. I physically couldn't leave, or maybe I didn't even try. She would have kept me there until exhaustion, if not for the dorm warden. He came to check the electricity meters. She got distracted, and I slipped out. I never went back to the dorm. Got my things through a friend. I don't remember what happened to the warden, only that nothing strange happened. That's their trick. Nothing strange. Everything explainable. That's when I realized you can't let them know you know, even if they're tired and becoming obvious. It's hard. I don't even know what's harder, resisting their charm or hiding the fact that you're resisting. That feeling of normality, it comes in waves. At the start, everything feels right, but there's a faint itch, a whisper that something is wrong. But toward the end, everything slips. You realize you are not in your living room at all, not even in a room. You're sitting, say, at an abandoned construction site. Your hands are numb from cold and stillness, and your conversation partner has been silent for a long time and barely resembles a human anymore. But waves of warmth and comfort keep washing over you, and you don't want to leave, or maybe you're too weak to. Leaving them is hard in any case, but if you don't let them know they've been exposed, the chances are better. Maybe there are other ways, but I figured out from the very first time that it's easier to redirect them to someone else. The second time I met one, everything happened automatically. Intuition, panic, whatever. But I got lucky. When I realized my companion was sitting in the upper corner of the ceiling and had far too many arms, I blurted out, "Someone's coming over soon. I'll let them in and we'll all sit together." And it worked. It bought it. I walked to the door and left calmly. Came back later with a real human friend, just in case. But it wasn't needed. The thing was gone. Later, I understood. They're terrible, at orienting themselves in our reality. If you tell them something confidently, they believe it. Their normality field, or whatever it is, works both ways. You can distract them by saying, "Go talk to my friend in the next room," and they'll go looking for another person, even if they saw the room was empty. If you don't panic and catch the details in time, they're not that dangerous. Really, nothing to worry about, especially since they never appear when I'm not alone. Maybe because it's harder for them to influence multiple people at once. When you think about it, they're basically harmless, and there's nothing to worry about. Not now, for sure. When you have friends around, friends with plenty of candy, there's nothing to worry about at all.